Hello students and viewers, welcome back to the chapter number 4, that is gymnosperms. In this video we are going to study about embryology of cycas, which includes structure of male cone, structure of female cone, pollination, fertilization, development of embryo life cycle pattern, and at the end we will be studying about economic importance of various gymnosperms. So we can start with the video. Vegetative reproduction in cycas is taking place by means of bulbils or adventitious buds. Here you will see the structure of bulbil. These bulbils develop from the parenchymatous cells of the cortex in the base of stem at the crevices. So here in the base of stem, and here somewhere these persistent leaf bases are seen where it is actually developing. Initially, bulbils are covered only with scale leaves, but the few foliage leaves developed with further growth. Bulbil arising on male plant will give male plant, and similarly, if it is arising on female plant, will give rise to female plant. This is a very common method of vegetative propagation in Cycas revoluta, whereas the vegetative reproduction in Cycas succinalis species takes place by formation of suckers that develops on roots. With further growth, they can start producing into new plants. Male cone of the cycas is present on the male plants. Here you can see this is present at the upper portion of the plant itself, and it is present these leaves. So here you can see the crown of leaves present, and in the middle it is growing. Then here at the base you can see some protective bracts are there, and here scale-like structures you can see. These are actually the sporophylls. So similar structure is represented here, that here are the protective bracts and these all are the sporophylls. These sporophylls are attached here in the middle central axis is there, and at which it is attached to the base. Now this individual structure of this is represented here, and this is actually called as sporophyll or microsporophyll. So this structure you can see which is represented here. This point is called as apophysis, which is protective in nature. And here you can see presence of sori, and same structure you will see these are actually sori. These sori are shown here, and same this structure is represented here in real. That see the structure of sori, how does it look, and within these sori there are present pollen grain. So this is typical structure of pollen grain, which has two layers. This is exine, this is intine, then small tube cell is there, a large generative cell is there, and near to the generative cell there is present prothelial cell. And here a fully developed structure of male gametophyte, where one male gamete and another male gamete is there, and it is a typical structure of a pollen tube is shown here. Female cone is present at the apical crown of the leaves of female plant. But as you have seen that the terminal position of a male cone of cycas on the male plant, which is either 1, 2 or 3 in number. But if you look here, here are many in number. Numerous female cones are there. Female cone synonymously also called as megasporophyll, which you can see this entire structure. This typical megasporophyll is with the ovules. These ovules you can see here. Numerous green colored structures you can see, and here individual of that is shown. This individual structure, if this is cut into vertical section, you will see this one integument, but it is differentiated into three zones. This outer green color zone is there, that is fleshy. Then this middle zone you can see, that is stony, and the big zone is there innermost, that is again fleshy, and this middle portion you can see, that is actually endosperm. This zone here, that is called as pollen chamber, and this is actually micropyle. Similarly, you can see here that this layer is outer, this layer is middle, this layer is inner, this layer is endosperm. Somewhere here nucellus is there. That nucellus itself is actually endosperm of gymnosperms, which is maternal tissue, and this maternal tissue is acting as an endosperm, and so that it is haploid in nature and it is maternal in nature, and it is developed before fertilization. Here you will see two archegonia are present at the apex. This is micropyle, and here is actually the pollen chamber. So this kind of a typical structure is there, and the ovule of cycas is unitegmic. Unitegmic means what? With one integument. But this one integument is differentiated into three layers. That is outer layer, which is fleshy, middle layer, which is stony, and inner layer, which is again fleshy. So this is a typical structure of female cone, and internal structure of ovule is like this. Cycas typically shows presence of wind pollination, that is anemophilous. The airborne pollen grains remain suspended in air, and at the same time some cells of the nucellar beak in the ovule are disorganized to form a viscous fluid. Somewhere these kind of cells are present here, and they start disorganizing and they ooze out something here. Okay, this fluid comes out through the micropyle, which you will see here, in the form of pollination drop. Actually what happens, these wind pollinating pollen grains are moving here and there with the help of wind, and as it come in contact with pollination drop here, it gets suspended, and later on it migrates down here and rests in the pollen chamber. Thus some of the airborne pollen grains come in contact with fluid and are sucked into the pollen chamber through the micropyle canal. The pollen grains are then deposited and concentrated within the pollen chamber, means here, somewhere here inside the pollen chamber. Then after that, this disorganized material gets completely dried by losing its water content. So all pollen grains remains as it is, and they do not get any passage to come out. At this stage, the ovule increase in size and the process of fertilization begins. Here we can learn about the process of fertilization. Same way in the first picture you can see that this is outer fleshy, middle stony, inner fleshy layer. This is micropyle, pollen chamber. This is one archegonium, and this is second archegonium. Here at the center you will see egg. Here at the center you will see egg. Such type of structures are present there. Now let's learn what exactly happening there. The sperm and the cytoplasm of pollen tube are released in the archegonial chamber by the rupture of basal end of pollen tube. Actually, pollens are here in this pollen chamber and they develop a tube downward here towards the archegonium, and the process of rupturing is taking place, and then what happens, the motile sperms enter into the archegonium with forward and circular motion, with the ciliary band forming at the anterior end. The archegonial chamber is flooded with fertilization fluid produced by nucellar cells. The ciliary band of sperm is left behind the top of egg cell. The sperm nucleus fuses with the egg nucleus and thus a zygote is formed. Now, actually, this pollen tube is growing down. Here male gametes are there. As this tube discharges its material, the male gamete is fusing here with the egg and thus there is development of zygote. After the process of fertilization, there is the beginning of embryo development, which we can learn here. So in previous slide you have seen two archegonia, but only one archegonium is getting fertilized of one ovule. Thus the diploid zygote functions as mother cell of sporophytic phase. So this is a diploid zygote, which is the first cell of sporophytic phase. Now, what happens next? This zygote grows little bit bigger in size and it starts dividing. So from one, after first mitosis, it is developed or it has developed two cells. Later on, it undergoes repeated divisions, and these divisions are free nuclear divisions. These divisions are free nuclear divisions, which here you can see many nuclei are there. Now, after this free nuclear division, what is happening? These nuclei are pushed in the peripheral region, that you can see all nuclei are pushing at the peripheral region, and there is formation of a central vacuole. So this central vacuole here you can see. Now see what happens next. The cell wall formation starts in the basal region. So in the basal region there is development of cell wall is started, here you can see, and extends to upper region. Later on cell division starts in upper region also. Then the cellular structure thus formed known as proembryo. This structure is called as a proembryo. Now the proembryo differentiated into three regions, that is haustorial suspensor and embryonal suspensor, and last is proembryo. So here you can see suspensor part. Out of that, this is haustorial suspensor, this part. This is embryonal suspensor, this part, and this is proembryo. So three zones are developed there, and this way actually the embryo development is taking place. So this is proembryo, and these are free nuclear divisions, and in the later stage this becomes more elongated and this becomes big, and this is actually a proembryo, and this proembryo grow big and later on forms embryo. Cycas seeds are actually fleshy and remain covered with orange red colored thick seed coat that you can see here. The embryo in the seed enlarges much. The nucellus is used up and the seed is covered with three layered seed coat. The coleorhiza is the first region to differentiate in the embryo proper, which is quite hard. The plumule develops later inside the base of the cotyledons. Subsequently, the suspensor dries up. The growth of embryo in seeds is very slow, taking over a year to mature. Cycas shows a 3 years reproductive cycle where pollination occurs in the winter of first year. See, pollination is occurring in the winter of first year. Then fertilization is taking place in summer of second year, and seed shedding is taking place in the summer of third year. So this is a big process taking 3 years. The development of embryo continues even after seeds are shed. Means even though these seeds are dropped down from the host plant, from the mother plant, still the development of embryo is taking place within these seeds. The seeds are dispersed by birds due to their attractive fleshy outer pulp. The germination of seed is epigeial. Epigeial means the seeds or these cotyledons are coming up along with the growing tip of the plant. Here we can see a typical life cycle pattern of cycas, where here male plant and here is the female plant. Male plant will have male cone, female plant will have female cone. So male cone and female cone is represented here. And as you know that this is a sporophyte, so this is diploid structure, this is also diploid structure, that is represented as 2n. Then what happens, female cone will have megasporangium and male cone will have microsporangium. Then megasporangium will have megaspore mother cell and microsporangium will have microspore mother cell, and these cells are also diploid. Now as they are undergoes meiosis, that is reductional division, once they underwent reductional division, megaspore mother cell will have megaspores and microspore mother cells will have microspores. These megaspores are present within embryo sac, and these male gametes or antherozooids are there, which are moving developed from the pollen grain. These antherozooids are in fact male nuclei, and embryo sac includes egg which is present within the archegonium. Now this male nuclei or male nucleus is N, and this egg is also N. When they unite together, there is a process of fertilization that is called as a syngamy. So after fertilization, it develops into zygote, or you can call oospore, that is diploid in nature. This further grows by repeated divisions, free nuclear divisions, and it develops into embryo. So this embryo is actually present within these seeds, and this seed can grow either into male plant or into female plant. We never know unless and until the plant has developed their cones. We cannot predict before development of cones that this plant is male plant or female plant. After the life cycle of cycas, let us have a look over some of the economic importances of various gymnosperms. First, let us understand about which gymnosperms are used as timber. So, it includes Pinus, Cedrus, Abies, Agathis, Araucaria, Cupressus, which includes highest quality of wood and which is used for making some of the building materials, furnitures, boxes, paper pulp, wool, plywood, railway sleepers, soundboard, musical instruments, matchboxes, matchsticks, pencils, etc. Then gymnosperms are best source of resins. So these resins are actually coniferous plant exudes which are only soluble in organic solvents. The resins can be extracted from oleoresin by distillation process. The purified resin called Burgundy pitch is obtained from Picea and Abies. The oleoresin and resin are strongly adhesive and are used in strongly adhesive purposes like varnishes, lithographic work, histological work, and some of the veterinary medicines also. Copal is also one of the important material which is obtained from gymnosperm. Actually, these copals are hard resins, that is high quality resins and adhesive material. They include little amount of essential oil also. The copal actually occur in the living as well as fossilized form also. Several species like Agathis yield copals, of which Agathis australis yields most important and most valued copal called Cori copal, and another important copal that is hard resin material that is called as a Manila copal or East Indian copal, which is obtained from Gymnosperm agathis alba. The copal are used in preparation of varnish, which is used for motor winding of electrical motors. Then linoleum, plastics, oilcloth, enamel, printing, ink, etc. is made by using these copals. Canada balsam is a very important material used in biology laboratories. It is transparent resin which does not granulate or crystallize after drying. And Abies balsamea, this is the plant of Abies, which is a rich source of Canada balsam. Then Tsuga canadensis and Pseudotsuga taxifolia also yield somewhat similar kind of resin, which is being used to prepare permanent slides in biological laboratories. Canada balsam is widely used as mounting medium for microscopic studies for its higher refractive index nearing that of a glass. Gymnosperms as source of essential oils and fatty oils. Almost all conifers yield essential oils along with resins. Spruce oil is obtained from Picea abies, which is used in room sprays, bath salts, and deodorants. Fatty oils obtained from seeds of many gymnosperms like Pinus cembra, Toraya nucifera, Cephalotaxus drupacea, etc. are used for food and paint. Gymnosperms as source of papers. For example, conifers yield good quality timber which are used for making paper pulp. Thus, conifers are the major source of paper pulp in the newsprint industry. Super quality of papers such as writing and printing papers are manufactured from the wood of Picea, Abies, Larix, and Tsuga, whereas craft papers are produced from Pinus and Cryptomeria. Few gymnosperms are also used in important medicinal drugs and Ayurvedic preparations. Ephedra is example of that, which is important source of alkaloid named ephedrine, which has been used as bronchodilator in cough mixture for the treatment of bronchial asthma. The leaves of Ginkgo biloba are important source of C20, that is trilactone gingolide compound. This compound is used to antagonize platelet activating factor in vertebrate blood system. The leaves of Ginkgo biloba are also used in the treatment of cerebral insufficiency and vertigo. Extract of cycas, just you have seen, leaves. This leaf extract is useful in treatment of flatulence and vomiting blood. Gymnosperms used as ornamental plants, which includes pine, cedar, fir, spruce, juniper, hemlock. These are widely planted in ornamental plants in gardens, parks, around tombs, and religious buildings for their stately appearance, symmetrical growth, and evergreen habit. Gymnosperms are used as food also. For example, this starch obtained from sago, that is obtained from cycas plant, and these species Cycas revoluta, Cycas ramphi, and Cycas circinalis yields this kind of starch called as a sago. The seeds of Cycas species Pinus gerardiana, Pinus pinea, Pinus edulis, Pinus pumila, Dione edule, and Dione spinulosum, Araucaria gingobiloba are edible for their rich source of starch. In North America, the seeds of Pinus species are commercially exploited in the manufacture of candies, nut coffee, and caramels. So these are few of the economic importances of gymnosperms. We have finished this entire chapter in 3 different videos. Thank you.